updates and things like that. And with that, Jay, you're a big fan of this guy as well. Austin Watkins Jr. He continues to impress. I told Mikey this, and I want to know what you all think. Has he surpassed Schwartz? Probably so. David Bell, and even Cedric Tillman himself on the Cleveland Browns depth chart?
For me, not Tillman.
Yeah.
But the others, yes. I mean, he's the leading – it's the preseason, so again.
No, it counts.
He's the leading receiver in the NFL preseason right now. His background is interesting to me. He was at Birmingham, right, and won the championship in the USFL. I think he's spent time with, am I right on this? The Buccaneers?
Went to UAB, right?
And one other team he spent a very short period of time with, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm thinking of the right guy, because I read the bios of these guys and I don't study them. But I feel like he was the USFL guy.
He was on the practice squad with San Francisco in 2021.
Yes.
The same thing with Tampa Bay in 2022.
Yes.
Then he was a part of the USFL championship team this year in 2023.
That's what I thought. So the reason I bring that up is obviously McNuggets, you know this as well as anyone, and I do too, because I was very undersized when I was 15, 16 years old. Everybody has their own maturation rate. Everybody comes into their own. Stars sometimes are born, and they're dominant at every level from the second they put their foot in that pool. Others, it just takes a little bit of time. And when I'm watching Austin Watkins, first of all, the one-handed catch.
Yeah.
Can't coach that, can't teach that. That comes with a lot of jugs machine work and a lot of ability. Big hands, strong hands. Sometimes guys slip through the cracks, and I always point to Kurt Warner when I talk about guys who slip through the cracks. Kurt Warner ends up being a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback, should have won multiple Super Bowls. When you look at his career stats, he's even better now than people remember him being.
He's one of the guys that aged well, even despite the different eras of football.
But they found him with the Iowa Barnstormers in the Arena Football League. Talent comes from all corners. And guys, I don't think this is fool's gold. I think this is a guy that's going to move the Browns meter when it comes to wide receiver.
He done took all that. Let's get right to it. Yeah, he done played better than them dudes. Tillman, yeah, you're a rookie. I don't count on rookies, whatever the case may be. I like your upside. That's great. The other two is not even a question. Bell, Schwartz, if you combine them, they wouldn't be better than him. If you just take the best traits that they have and put them together, they would not be better than him. First of all, he's sneaky. He's sneaky big. He's 6'3".
He's the same size as Cedric Tillman. He's listed at 6'3", 210. Tillman's listed at 6'3", 215. We look at Tillman as a big body, possession receiver. I see Watkins as a big play guy in a big body.
And
they were saying it last night. He looks like, not just because of the number.
He looks like Jarvis Landry.
He looks like Jarvis Landry.
But faster and
now,
quicker.
Jarvis wasn't that big.
No.
But his routes and his I like that he puts his hands up to catch the football very late. A lot of receivers will telegraph that the ball's coming their way by doing this when the ball's 10 yards away. The DB doesn't have to look back. He knows it's coming. He puts his hand up.
And I talked to Boogie when we was talking to him. He said, I said, what is the advantage of you playing in the USFL and then going to camp? I said, that's like 2 seasons in one. He said something, and it always stuck with me, and I was going to watch it this year. He said, when you got those guys come from that USFL, they already ready to play. They already in game shape. They already in season play. Like, he's played he got his reps. He's in shape, ready to go. And when you watch him, his routes look like it. His body placement looks like it. He looks like he's playing in the regular season and everybody else is trying to get ramped up. When you got that level of production, 24 targets, like we acting like this is light work. This ain't light work.
Look at his average, his yards per reception.
14.79
is incredible.
Yeah.
They got them.
Is it fool's gold? You just made a great point I hadn't thought of. Yeah, he's coming in off a season.
Yeah. We actually got to get Skip.
In game shape.
We got to get Skip on the show next week to talk about. He played for Skip Polk. He's our guy.
I wonder if we should do that. Skip likes coming on the program.
Skip loves coming on.
And by the way,
that's a great idea.
2-time champ Skip Holtz.
Yeah.
Back to back.
So what are y'all doing down there to get guys ready to go? Yeah. And he says he was, when we had him last time.
Do you have his digits now?
Man, boy.
I'll text him in a sec.
Boy.
Check this out.
I'd like to talk to him right now.
But check this out. because he's not even that small. According to his Wikipedia, he's 6'1", 209. He runs a 4.53, and to me, if you're a route runner, that 4.53 really don't bother me that much. Because you can run a 4.44
it doesn't bother me
and
either.
not run routes at all.
I got ESPN had him bigger than that.
Yeah, I would go off Wikipedia.
He was listed at 6'3", 210 on ESPN, so even bigger than that. The one thing that's impressed me the most about him is he's now played with 3 different quarterbacks.
Right.
In the preseason for significant snaps.
Yeah.
Dobbs, Mond, and DTR.
And they're all finding him.
He's all of their number 1 options. The first guy their eyes are looking for, and this is a guy with DTR who played in high school with Cedric Tillman, and they clearly have their own rapport. But when DTR was scrambling yesterday, when the pocket broke down, where were his eyes going first?
Yeah, he found
number 80. 3 different quarterbacks, 1 receiver, number 1 option with all 3. To me, that tells me a lot about.
We really don't know. Was he the number 1 option for Watson? Because Watson
No,
only threw 3 passes.
Mond.
Oh, yeah,
Dobbs,
the backups. Okay,
of the 3 backups.
I got
the
it,
3
yeah.
backups who he's played with. It didn't matter who was under center. Their first read was always to him. And that means he's got connection with 3 guys already.
And they're learning that in practice.
And they're learning
he's
in
the
practice.
guy that's open.
And that's my point. So
Yeah.
what we see in the games is obviously impressive.
But now we've seen before, though, in the preseason where guys have been fool's gold. And then the season starts and you can't find them on a milk carton. Is this real?
So I think there's 2 sides to this. A, he's the number 1 option, but Cooper, DPJ, Moore aren't playing.
Haven't been on the field yet.
So if he does make this 53-man roster and he does surpass Tillman, Bell, and whoever else, Grant, Godwin, they got a lot of pieces to figure out. He's still going to be the 4th receiver. How many snaps is he going to get? But
Right.
Earl, I made a graphic. Can you pull up the Victor Cruz, Watkins Jr. comparison graphic? Do you remember Victor Cruz's
I remember him well.
historic preseason? Well, look at these numbers. Now, Victor Cruz obviously went on to be a very successful receiver for the New York Giants, and he blew up with that 3-touchdown game against the Jets in week 1 of the preseason. But not all preseason stuff is fool's gold. You watched that game and you saw Victor Cruz play, and despite the fact he was going against 2nd and 3rd teamers, you looked at him and go, he moves like a guy who could be playing in the pros, he catches the ball, he runs like a guy who could be playing on Sundays, and he turned out to be a very successful player. Watkins Jr., when I watch him, he moves, he cuts, he catches, he separates like a guy who could be playing
I love his routes.
on Sundays with a
And the
Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
The one-handed catch, when you see something like that, that's what tells me this isn't fool's gold. He did drop a couple balls, though.
It wasn't
had
perfect.
a couple drops.
He wasn't perfect.
There's a couple that hit his hands, but a couple of those balls were thrown kind of wild, a little high, a little low. Here's the thing: I just want to see him. I want to see him against Kansas City once again. When we're talking about these things, it's everyone prefaces it with, "Oh, it's just a preseason. How do you know it's going to be?" No, preseason is to give you the opportunity, right? The opportunity comes from you doing what you need to do against that competition, and the coach is saying, "You know, let me see you with the ones. Let me see how you work with the ones. You know what? Put him in into a slot on this play. Yeah. I want to see how he reacts to this." And so now you get an opportunity, maybe in Kansas City, 4 wide receiver sets. He's a guy that could be in as your 4th receiver. And then you get your look. You can tell whether or not you're going to be able to play with a receiver and guys like that. And to give him credit, the Browns have found multiple guys. I count not only him, Ronnie Hickman is a guy that's a threat to make this roster. 3 interceptions. Had another pick. Diabate, not diabetes. We will be talking about that. That guy is nice. And then you got DeJuan Jones. So you got these guys.
And Whippler.
Whippler played a lot really well. So now you got a lot of guys that you may not be hitting on some guys, but how you make up for it is, I didn't hit on Schwartz. But if you hit on Austin Watkins, that's a wash.
Yeah, but I wish general managers looked at it that way. This will never happen, but what I think should happen, if it was a true meritocracy, the coaching staff and the general managers in the front office would erase how these players were drafted, were acquired.
Right.
Because we've kept Schwartz around for a very long time because of where he was drafted. I think Bell is getting a look because of where. If Schwartz was an undrafted free agent last year, he's gone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
You can book that.
We talked
He's
about
gone.
expectations yesterday. That's what comes along, the expectation of being a
You wear that
third-round
label
pick.
of how you were acquired and what round it was in. Hell, we're probably in truth holding Cade York because he wasn't an undrafted free agent, that he's a 4th rounder.
We talked about that before the show. Cade York is the expectations. You got to make these because you were picked in the 4th round. If he's an undrafted rookie, you just go,
DTR and Dobbs.
Yeah.
If you took Dobbs, the fact that he was already here before,
right,
and you had DTR now, they'd be in a whole competition.
Listen, if DTR was wearing Dobbs' jersey and Dobbs was wearing DTR's jersey,
they keep
DTR's the backup quarterback.
They would only
DTR's
keep
the backup quarterback.
Right now.
only keep
He's
two quarterbacks.
not going to be the backup quarterback because of pedigree and how these players were acquired.
Yes.
And sometimes I think those decisions cloud their judgment. And, I mean, look, we've seen even here, we've seen this regime hold on to players longer than they should because they know releasing them admits that you're making a mistake. I would rather have a general manager that's willing to stand up and say, my bad, I missed.
That one didn't work.
I'm going to release him, instead of compounding the bad original decision and holding on to a player longer than they should when the player doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Browns receiver room, there was a really interesting nugget I saw on Twitter last night that I wasn't aware of. If the Browns want to place Marquise Goodwin, on the PUP list,
Yes.
he has to be on the 53-man roster first.
That's not going to happen.
Which means if they want to keep him around on the PUP list, someone's not making the 53-man roster because he needs a spot.
Yeah, and I don't think that's
I
going to happen.
think he's going to be cut because of that.
Gee, do you know, do they have to come up with a disability compensation?
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of disability.
But Tyvis talked about that.
But I'm rooting for Marquise.
We love him.
I know
love
him
him
personally.
Yeah.
I think he's a great guy.
And he's getting
But
up there in
can't-
age.
Yeah,
Right?
at
He's
the peril of
32.
this team, you can't hold a roster spot for a guy that I don't know what the condition is, but we haven't heard anything, and we know what blood clots have done to other pro athletes' careers.
Chris Bosh don't tackle nobody.
No,
he
and
he don't get hit.
You're not playing ever again.
The reason I bring that up, though, is Austin Watkins will be on an NFL team this year. He will be on a 53-man roster.
Hey,
it's up to Cleveland to decide which team he'll be on.
No. Don't you say that like as if there's a chance that he's not.
He's making this team.
I think so too, but I'm just saying if
There's no scenario which
he
they
doesn't
cut
make
him.
it back to the practice squad.
No.
Like he doesn't.
No.
If the Browns decide to go in a different route because they keep a Godwin to put him on the PUP, or because there's
Can't do it.
you got Cooper, Moore, DPJ, Tillman, locks.
And I think the next spot
And you
that's a
have-
lock is his.
Yep.
Over Bell now? You
Yep.
think-
I'm not even
I
thinking
agree with
about
Jay.
it. Not even thinking
It
about
ain't
it.
even
Not,
close.
oh, hold on. Not
Now,
what's
should
right.
this
Hold on, wait,
organization keep Bell
wait.
and cut him?
Wait. Not what's right. What do you think Andrew Berry? You think he's past Bell in Andrew Berry's eyes?
Bell's likely the 6th.
So Godwin, Grant, Schwartz obviously, but Godwin, Grant, bye.
They gonna keep Bell because he's a good soldier.
He's only had 1 year.
Yeah, he's at
So
1 year.
I think, in this organization and in many organizations, you've got to really stink it up and fumble to not get a second year when you're a third-round pick. I didn't think Schwartz's play in year 1 warranted a year 2. I think Bell, there's enough there that we got to at least look at him some more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope I'm not buying this and turning fool's gold into real gold.
He looks good.
But what
Legitimately
I'm
looks good.
about to say might be a surprise to some, but I think that Watkins has the ability to crack the starting to crack the top 3.
I said that. Look, I have the tweet. The Duke of Knee Jerk put the tweet out yesterday. If you can find it on Tagboard, I said, listen, Diabate will be a starter week 1 because
starter.
Oh, he's starting.
Say that juice though, G. When we get to the defense, I don't want you to.
Don't want to get.
Yeah.
But my other.
He flashed for me last night.
But I put 2 knee jerks together. It was
Double
both
knee jerk?
knees. Double. I fell down. I was like a deer that was born. My knees was going down. I can't move. And guess what? I said, at wide receiver number 3, Watkins got 2. He got 300 yards.
So who's most likely to come out of the starting 3?
That's DPJ.
Moore?
DPJ.
No, DPJ.
Really?
Yeah.
Moore ain't going nowhere.
According to Tyvis, Moore is that guy. He's him.
Moore's higher than him.
Hey, that's a pretty damn good. If it ends up being Moore, Watkins, and Cooper, and this isn't fool's gold, 4,800 might be in reach.
Oh, 4,800.
I'm texting
41.
Skip right now.
Couple things while Mike is texting. I agree with you. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that he can, by mid-season or season ends, be in the top 3 because I think Mike using the Victor Cruz comparison was perfect. You can just look at some guys and see they can play. But, Jay, what you think about this? I think he's wide receiver 5. I think David Bell is making this team for one reason. Michael Woods is on IR. It's something about Michael Woods being with Deshaun Watson from, February to the time he got hurt.
Yeah.
That says something. This was a guy that, it was a lot of potential there. Deshaun Watson seemed to have that chemistry with him towards the end last year. So just think, if he didn't tear his ACL, David Bell might be on that cut list too with Schwartz and
I think
Grant
you're right.
I
think it'd be a much more nervous final week of the preseason for David Bell if Woods was still on the active roster.
And I said it like, you talk to people, and I was kind of surprised. When we was talking about DeAndre Hopkins, I talked to some people that's close to Deshaun Watson, and he said, look, he says this is the most talented core he's played with. And I said, I'll jump back a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, you like DPJ? Like, is that moving it, or Elijah Moore? He's like, no, they got guys that you don't even ain't really seeing like that can really play.
Who said that?
This is somebody close to Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
And I'm like, I said, I had to go, I typed again, I said.
He showed me the text, he's not kidding.
I said, what you mean, like, best ever? I mean, you had DeAndre Hopkins, you had guys, what's the guy that went for
Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller.
He didn't have Will Fuller.
These dudes move. They get busy. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to see it.
Damn you, G, you're getting me pumped. You're getting me pumped.
Can I do my best bowl impression? This shit don't matter. Why y'all getting excited about preseason football?
You guys that sit up here.
Fans y'all mad at you. Bunch of slapsticks up here talking about preseason football.
I mean, come on now.
Come on now.
Jay, you out of your mind.
I needed to hear that. Because my pendulum swings easily to the we're going to be great.
Like, look, I want them to be great. I want them to be.
I do too. That's the problem. It's easy to be talked into this.
Like, here's one thing. Look at it. Bull up with it. Talked him up. He done pulled up. Now, he's like, I'm doing my best impression. You know what I'm doing? I'm sleeping on the entire preseason. I care less about
He goes into hibernation July 31st, and he doesn't come out until September 10th.
I don't even watch the Bengals. I hate their preseason games. I hate the Cubs. I hate the Cubs spring training. I hate them all.
We're talking about practice.
I mean, come on. You guys are sitting up here going crazy about a wide receiver who's in the USFL. Are you kidding me right now?
That's
this
what he
shit
would
don't
say.
matter.
That's what he would say.
Yeah, Boogie. He's hanging out with Boogie right now.
Well, I do wish Bo was here for